The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter. The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Wednesday, July edition of The Big Issue. My name is Bode Bradebo. Welcome to the show this evening. And of course, as usual, I have been joined by in-house analyst Salas Ezegu. Salas, good evening.
Yeah, good
Welcome to The Big Issue.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the last time we met on this show was last week. So we are meeting for the first time this Wednesday for the week. Yeah, viewers, as usual, we shall look at some issues in the news and as well discuss in-depthly another matter of interest. And of course, today we hope to be joined by a former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Bimbo Daramola. Well, before then, we're going to look at the fake ministerial list in circulation and as well as the unabated insecurity challenge in the country under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, Silas, let's start with the security issue. Naturally, some person believe that whenever there is a change of betting and a new government is leaving and a new one is taking over, naturally there will be some changes. Maybe people will heave a sigh of relief. Particularly, this expectation had been on security issue, but to our surprise, nothing has changed. In fact, the killing has been on the rise. One particular case at hand is the Plateau issue, where there have been killing of people, without any serious attempt by the government to stop this trend. I don't know. What do you think is actually responsible for this? Against the backdrop that government has changed, even at the Plateau level and at the national level, but the security situation has not improved. What is fundamentally wrong?
Yeah, the thing are the issues that are causing this security in across Nigeria has not been addressed. The issues that have not been.
So it's not about leadership, it's not about Buhari, it's not about Tinubu. No,
when people
there are fundamental issues.
There's one issue, and the issue is to get to the bottom. What is causing it? Can you solve it? The security will be tackled, but it don't solve it by just appointing
people,
a new person, and they will not look at his face and say, okay, so this face I like it, I won't keep people again. No, it doesn't work like that. The thing that the government is trying to bed in, they're trying to they've changed the security chiefs.
Yes.
It won't stop at that. They have to change the security strategy too. What is response time? What about technology? What about boots on the ground? What of the audit of the boots on ground?
The last people.
Yes. So now, the recently one of the community leaders in Mango was saying that is even accusing the military personnel involved in the operation of being complicit in what is happening. So you need to do, and that is not the first time such accusations have been coming against military people uniform across Nigeria. So there need to be audit of all these things to see is there truth in that. Why is it that these things are happening in area where they are close by and they cannot respond? The military can. So what the response time? It doesn't just stop by changing the personnel.
Head of security and intelligence.
They need to change
the
approach to security. They have to change the strategy in such a way that response time is better. There's access to, if you're in distress, have access to people who can help you. Then it shouldn't take 1 and 30 minutes to get to a scene of failure, to even stop for attacks, and to also find out who are doing this. Where are they staying? Because I remember someone saying that some of them live, outside of the area. They say in some fringes of Abuja, in Nassau and Co. When they need to attack, they just go to those attack and disappear. So they need to have a way of tracking those who do the same. Get them and find out who is sponsoring them. What do they want? I've had one senator from there, I don't know his
From
name,
Plateau.
saying that it's politically motivated, that the one in Mangu had been one of the safe areas until somebody from Mangu became governor.
So
All of a sudden, attacks started
is
going
that
to
to
Mangu.
embarrass the governor or what?
You know, he's saying that, his meeting became a governor. He said he had attacks in Mangu. So, and it's just when their son became a governor. Then another lawmaker from for Job South and Job North, don't even know, said, as well to economic issues, said there are people who are interested in mining some precious stones in the area.
So
they come there, kill people off, drive them away. Before they come back, they are taking over the place and mining. So, and I remember a report in the past, I don't remember who published it, saying that some of these foreign companies involved in illegal mining, they also sponsor attacks
insecurity,
so that they can drive the owners of land away and have access.
and have a field day.
So that is what I expect the DSS, all the intelligence units in Nigeria to get to the bottom of the matter and know what do they want. In the past, the people in the area said certain want to take over their land for economic expansion, for land where to settle. Let us know exactly what the problem is. Then, if you can't find what the problem is, they can't solve the problem. So that is what I expect the new services to get to the bottom, find out what's the problem. Better I know the problem, you now know who is doing causing the issues, know how to get at him. But I agree with somebody who spoke on TV today. One journalist said, for these days of drone, you don't even have to have so many people on ground. You can have a drone to monitor an area and see what is happening there, get information back, track those who have committed the offense to where they are. Use drone and follow them. Even if you want to kill them directly, you can use drone and drop bomb on their head. You don't need to have 1 million people in that place. What are we doing about technology? You can see what's happening in Iraq, in Ukraine. You see people are able to launch attacks using drone, drop bombs, So why come that since started finding Boko Haram, we are still at the level of boots on the ground? And we don't even have enough. Because we have security operations all over the country, from southeast to south to northeast, northwest. You have security men that spread thin.
Well, Silas, for me, I think you spoke about two causative factors, politics and mining. Yes, yes. Now, and I'll blame government for all, because if someone is saying, oh, this crisis are politically motivated, who is in best position to expose perpetrators and punish them? The government.
Yeah. Using that security agencies.
Yes, to discourage the incident happening again. Now, when you talk about mining, until recently, when I think there is an serious attempt to alter the constitution to make mining go to concurrent list. Yes. Mining had always been on the exclusive list of the constitution. Yes. Now, it shows that the federal government was solely responsible for mining. Yes. So why should we allow artisanal mining to the extent of fueling insecurity? I remember this Zamfara massacre. They will always tell you, oh, it's about Chinese miners, illegal miners, this and this. They attributed it to mining. Now Plateau, they say it's mining. Who is in better position to stop this? It's government. But all what we see every day, even President Tinubu just 2 days ago or yesterday, also issued a statement as usual. Oh, I condemn this attack. Oh, security agencies.
I'll give you marching orders.
And you don't get to see anything.
The march and march.
We don't see the perpetrators in court facing trial for murder and the rest of them. And the orgy has continued.
Yes.
So human life now in Nigeria, human lives have been reduced to mere statistics.
Yeah.
2 killed today, 3 killed tomorrow, 4 killed next tomorrow, and we'll go back and sleep and wake up again if you are lucky.
If you're lucky today. It's unfortunate because, but I know that somehow the government is just trying to settle
down. Yes.
And those who are not going to wait for it to settle. They'll continue. So they need to quickly get things happening. We need to get to those who are committing these crimes. Because I believe that if you see attacks happening over and over in an area, in Plateau, it's practically like the same clique of marauders.
Exactly.
That are hitting here, hitting there. And someone is paying them to do that. So if they keep their eyes open, the security men have tried a lot in this
Of course,
and they lost their lives, plenty of them.
Yeah,
But I also
sacrifice.
believe that there are also rogue elements among
We
them.
also, as
who
Nigerians,
might
need to help them.
who might be um, doing things that are antithetical to their work. So if there are some rogue elements that are conniving with those people, the commanders now need to fish them out. Because when you have a mole within who is giving information to the outsider, then you cannot achieve much. Before you go to arrest him, you will call them and say they're coming and they run away. So they need to audit those who are involved in these operations, remove the bad eggs, they can get at those who are causing. Because, like I said, I believe that if at the time it was in Benue, during the last transition.
Even now, there is
They are still in Benue, but the one of Plateau,
Taraba,
that middle belt
Kaduna,
axis,
you know,
that axis.
killings here and there.
So they need to find. It may not be the same problem that causing the same causative factors that are causing the one in Southern Kaduna.
Is the one
Benue.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to.
There are peculiar issues.
You need to do a security audit of the issues and know what is triggering
the best approach.
Then you now know how to. It may not. You not one size fits all in approach. So that's why I expect. That's why I like the fact that they appointed an investigative-minded person like Ribadu
as a national security advisor.
So I want to see that our security approach should be more intelligence-driven, gathering sensitive security information, which can help you to arrive at where you're going. Not just okay. There's killing in Bauchi or in Zamfara. Okay, now assemble some fighter jets and go and throw bomb on. Sometimes even kill innocent people.
Yeah.
So when you have some well-distilled security-driven, intelligence-driven approach, you can achieve a lot more than this kind of knee-check approach that we have.
All right.
Say, okay, if you ask the security chief to go to the place, if he's there personally and doesn't have information, doesn't have the tools to work, what's he going to do? He's going to use his hand and pursue them.
Exactly. You won't achieve anything.
Doesn't make just for brotherhood show to show the people we are doing something. We are past that level.
Of course, because we are losing precious lives and property. All right, viewers, we need to go on a short break. When we come back, the discussion will continue, and as well, we'll be joined by former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Bimbo Daramola, to provide fresh perspectives about political development in the country. Don't go away. It's still the big issue.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome back. It's still the big issue for July 12, 2023. And of course, I've been with Silas Ezegu, leadership analyst, to help provide perspective to issues in the news. Well done, Silas. Thank you for being with us thus far. Now, let's talk about the fake ministerial list in circulation for days now. And it is becoming embarrassing because this is not the first time a new government will be appointing ministers, and people are not patient enough. I will know, yes, it's natural, but I want to believe that, yes, there are some people who are behind these fake news to fly kites, to put their name in the consciousness of the president. And just yesterday, or about 48 hours ago, a former military governor of Kaduna State, the elder statesman, Colonel Dangiwa Umar, retired. He had to also issue a statement calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to shut his door against people he called desperate lobbyists, people who are lobbying, and in fact, he described their lobbying as becoming embarrassing already. They want to be ministers at all costs. And it appears that some of these people are not doing this to serve the country. They are doing this to get protection, immunity, even though ministers don't have immunity, but at least when they have office, they have coterie of security people around them. They can be covered, they can be protected from their political opponents, or even from the long arms of the law. So I don't know, give me a sense of this development. Is this also embarrassing to you?
I won't call it embarrassing to
Okay.
me. I cannot stay here and say I know the extent at which they are going to lobby, because I've not seen a lot of them carry.
What about planting fake news in the media? So person has been nominated. So person has been nominated.
I read a story sometime, and they said some of the governors, ministers that serve under this regime, like some of them are putting it out to continue to serve on that matter of continuity. Since you already know the ground, they need people who are on the ground to take off. And then some former governors, those who lost start in the primaries, in the main elections, those who are at that time, of course, you cannot rule out the fact that there will be some political IOUs that the president will have to settle.
Of course, settle.
And then, but he has just spoken about a government of national competence.
He said so before the election. After the election, when he was the president, president-elect.
Yes, and he also said that he will not sacrifice competence.
Yes.
And a lot of other
political patronage.
Yeah, he says so. Now he also says he's going to bring in a lot of young people with fresh ideas. Okay, and I know he also made some promise to women too. So I'm seeing some people say, okay, give women and youth 60%, they can carry
the rest
to you. So I don't know if you give women and youth for 10%, the ones that will. I know that also among the women and youth, they also have technocrats among them. Yeah. They don't just pick any youth.
Exactly.
Those who can have some demonstrated that they have something to offer, in public service. So it's good that people are speaking up. People like a Dagon of man, but I ultimately know that I think the president is trying to balance his need for competence with need for politics.
Yes, at least.
Because
there must be a
let
balance.
me tell you that he knows he didn't get there all by himself, even though largely his political use, those helping the past, his boys in the faith, his party formed, the governor that wanted to buy into helped him to get there. There's all the other shenanigans that happened in the election. But so it is also expected that some people who went out of the way to help him might be compensated politically. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But he should not forget who he has been, which is that he has the talent for supporting people who can make things work.
Yeah, he was reputed for that, especially when he was governor of Lagos State between 1999.
I know that
and
now to now is more than 20 years.
And a lot of things
have changed too.
Yeah.
His
worldview
might
change.
change.
Cut you short because of our remote guest who has just joined us. We have been joined by Honorable Bimbo Daramola, a former member of the Federal House of Representatives. Good evening, Honorable Bimbo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, buddy. Good evening. How now?
Can you hear us?
I can hear
Bimbo,
you.
you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you hear
good.
me?
Thank you for joining us. And I know you must have been listening to our conversation earlier. I know the network has not been too friendly for you to join much. But it's a pleasure that you are joining the show this evening. Honorable Bimbo Deramola is a former member of the Federal
Thank you.
House Representative. Congressman, first of all, let me have your take about
That's the preferred
this
designation.
in circulation. I know you know it is fake, but then tell us, why do you think people are this desperate to want to become Tinubu's ministers?
Well, let me first and foremost say, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. Let me first and foremost say that this is the way of Nigerians. We are very anxious people, and for a number of reasons. I say this because of the experiences of the past. Some people are already stirring up agitation because they are interested in making the list. That's number one. 90% of the guys throwing out all kinds of lists out are the guys who are subterraneously telling media people, with due respect, using the advantage of Facebook and their reach and their followers, to tell Mr. President and his handlers and the people who may be consulted that, President, I still there here. President, don't forget me. You understand? Number two, there's also the category of people who genuinely are concerned, particularly business people, who believe that if you appoint XYZ to XYZ position, chances are that that will help our country to get on track and all of that. So those are the two broad divides of and okay, maybe the third one, they are the guys who just wants to create news and make news out of it, and they want to put out things to say, oh, if President Tinubu goes ahead to appoint Mr. So, that may be a way of interpreting the dimension or the perspective or the understanding of the trust of the administration of Bola Tinubu. Now, the truth of the matter is that a whole lot of people are also agitated at this time, wanting to say that the president must earn the trust of the public. And in earning the trust of the public, particularly at the time that we are so badly divided, one of the things that the president cannot afford to joke with at this time is the trust of the people. People must see in him a clear departure from the status quo. The status quo is what my brother who has contributed there has said. The status quo of Mr. Lagbaja is an APC man. He has worked and all of that. What of all the guys who have been in APC all of those years and who seemingly have worked politically? I am not saying throw them away. I am saying that at the junction that we have found ourselves as a nation, we need much more than partisan loyalty to take us out of this mess. And I think President Tinubu himself knows that.
But I ought to ask you this earlier, that, okay, on a general note, what is your own assessment of Tinubu's leadership style? You know, just about 2 months now, or barely 2 months, he has zoomed office. He has made a lot of policy pronouncements, suspension of some taxes, appointment of person, suspension of some highly placed government officials. So yes, and the removal of the subsidy on his first day in office. So give me a sense of all these decisions. How satisfied are you with the whole approach? Is this the right step in the right direction, or we should keep our fingers crossed?
Well, let me first and foremost clarify that you can hear me very well. Let me be sure that you can. All right, fine. Well, I posted I posted something on my Facebook a couple of months ago. No, yeah, about 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, and I said Hurricane Tinubu. In the sense that the president will almost suggest that his actions over the past 4 weeks or 6 weeks will almost suggest like a man who is in a hurry. It cuts the impression of a man who is in a hurry to do good. This is what I see. And it's a remarkable departure from what we have seen for all of the times we have in and out of either military or civil rule. And in one of my articles, I wrote there very clearly that the last time we had a leader who demonstrated this amount of energy and being in your face kind of leader was when General Murtala Mohammed was supposed to in 1976, when he was head of state. And he was doing something, he was doing things in rapid succession, you know, and the staccato of events reverberated along the length and breadth of this country. He almost would suggest that what is going to happen next. I mean, at that point in time, for all of those guys that you referred to, they go into the villa. In my article, I wrote it there. You go into the villa, and then you go smiling, and by the time you're coming out, you already have a death knell on your hands, and down the road, it's either Uncle Dele or somebody else announces that you have been relieved of your position. So it will come across like the president is in a hurry. He wants to do good. He knows that Nigerians are our attention span is very short, and he knows that at this time, in order to also earn the public trust of the people, he must demonstrate very clearly that he understands what the job demands. And I don't think that he can afford to slow down. More than anything else, he must do things like, I mean, don't forget that this man has been in opposition for the greater part of his politics. And so the advantage that being in opposition provides is that you have seen the bad sides, you have seen the downside, and so now that you are in the saddle, everything that you have bemoaned, everything that you have lamented, everything that you have called people out about, now it's time for you to do it. Unfortunately, we have not seen that in the last administration, or we didn't see too much of that. I think a President Tinubu is conscious of that and is duty bound to do that. Everybody is now saying that you have been in opposition, you have fought people, you have fought Jonathan, you have fought this one, you have fought that one. Now you have an opportunity to give expression to every fight that you have given in the past 20 years. Now do it and do it better. You don't want to be a spectator. And Ashadi himself in one of his pictures has said, politics is not a spectator sport. Now he's right on the turf. Let us see him score the goals now.
Assembly, how will you want the 10th National Assembly to actually screen Tinubu's minister? We have been used to a particular pattern. If you are a member of the National Assembly before, you will be asked to take a bow and go as a tradition, no question for you. And if you happen not to be a member before, you'll be asked some question. But then I think we're used to these ties, and we're not getting anything from them, because under a Buhari government, it was discovered that a former minister actually procured a fake NYC discharge certificate, despite undergoing security checks and the National Assembly legislative screening. So how will you want the National Assembly this time around to screen Tinubu's ministers for efficiency and service delivery in the interest of Nigerians and Nigeria?
Let me say this again. Do you hear me very clearly?
Sure, go ahead. Sure.
All right. So now, I'm not too sure that there's a need for a remarkable departure, or there won't be a remarkable departure from the screening exercise. There won't be. Don't expect too much. These are politicians anyway, you know. And then don't forget that some of them have been friends before. For instance, Benga Daniel is now a senator. He was governor in Ogun State. He will probably be in that panel to screen some of his former colleagues. What are you expecting him to say? There's no way we ask the right questions. And this is not to impugn the integrity of Senator or to spotlight Senator Daniel. No, but to say that all of these sentiments will come into play. And this is one of the reasons why you need a new approach to some of these things. You will discover that some people will go into that screening exercise, and the only thing that they are going into that screening exercise with is their partisan credentials. Oh, I have been the chairman. I have been the governor. I have been the this. I have been the that. And that's why we keep running into the kind of mistakes that you talked about. But this is not an excuse for the guys who are supposed to also be a part of the screening process. In screening people thoroughly, it's totally embarrassing that a minister will have been appointed before some of these things begin to come out. That's about qualification and eligibility. Eligibility should be irreducible minimum. Who is this guy? Does he claim? Does he have things to substantiate the claims that he has made? So if we take the question of eligibility, we take the question of qualification, the next question is the question of capacity and competence. And the only way you can validate the future is to look back at what the guy has done. The only thing that validates your promises, your ability to deliver, is the capacity to show that I have done this before. So what are the credentials that some of these guys are bringing to the table? These are the things that people should be interrogating. At the last dispensation, there was a minister who came with a whole lot of attitude, with a lot of I am this, I am that, I have done this, I've done that, and he roundly failed us as a nation. When he got his position, he failed. Don't forget the sabre rattling that they come and do on the media, this and that. No. Did you deliver on expectation? Every minister has to show very clearly that he understands where we are at this point and where President Tinubu wants to take us. End of story. Anything short of that is begging the issue. But I'm afraid if we put first and foremost our level of partisanship or closeness to the president or closeness to the establishment, we'll be walking the same path. It won't change. Nothing to, I don't have a problem with taking a bow and go if I know that this man has capacity to deliver and is fired on. I will tell him, because if he knows, if he has showed, for instance, if he put an Okocha on the field now, Okocha is a good player, used to be a good footballer. He will still have the instincts in him. But the Okocha of 1982, 1984, 1992, 1994 is different from the Okocha of 2023. So all of those things have to be kept in perspective, knowing too well that this administration cannot afford to fail Nigerians.
Many thanks to you, Honorable Bimbo Daramola, a former politician, development expert, and businessman. Thank you for joining on the show this evening. And we hope to see you
very much,
whenever the need arises.
Well done, buddy. Thank you. Good work you're doing. Good job.
Yes.
God bless.
So I think he said it all.
He said it all.
We just hope that the people concerned will hear in the first place.
Let's just hope that they'll do the right thing this time around.
Yes. All right, viewers, that was about the size of the show this evening. Make a date with us tomorrow for another edition of The Big Issue. From here, my name remains Bode Gbadebo. It's bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.